Hello there. Before we get into the episode, I want to say that right now I'm looking for a very, very specific type of learner to join the Academy. Doors are back open and I'm looking for someone who is of a B2 level or above, so upper intermediate or above. But not just that, I want to know that you care deeply about how you sound in English, not just being correct, but being yourself. Because the aim I have for new members is to reach a level of comfort with their English where they can truly express who they are. Now, I'm sure you appreciate this doesn't happen just overnight. So I'm looking for someone who can commit to 3 hours or more a week to their studies with me. And the reason I'm asking this is because I've recently updated the Academy to offer 3 live sessions a week, personalized feedback, and a weekly structure that helps you actually use the language, not just memorize it. If that sounds like you, I'd love to have you. Go to thebritishenglishpodcast.com/academy. Oh, and there's also a special bonus available right now if you join.
This episode is brought to you by Walmart. New beauty is in bloom at Walmart, and it's all about springtime radiance. From Drybar, Tula Skincare, and hundreds more available online, Walmart has the premium brands you want and this season's on-trend products for flawless, glossy hair and hydrated skin. Big name beauty brands? Check. The things you love? Check. Find trending spring beauty and all you need to look and feel gorgeous at Walmart, on app and online.
Hello and welcome to the British English Podcast, the show that helps you better understand British English through culture-based conversations. This week, we're actually cross-posting, meaning I'm publishing an episode from another show. And the reason is because I think you'll enjoy hearing my cringe-worthy true story of when I first met my wife's parents. If you've ever seen the films Meet the Parents or Meet the Fockers, then it's that kind of vibe. But this episode is also going to give you an insight into the power of storytelling as a language learner. And with that, introduce you to a new show you may not be aware of. It's called Into the Story, a storytelling podcast for English learners like yourself. The host is called Bree, who's Canadian, and she's lived in Barcelona for a long time now, and she helped coach me into shaping the story that you're about to hear. She's a wonderful storyteller and storytelling coach, and I hope you check her show out. But first, you can enjoy this episode right here on my podcast, all about how I met my parents-in-law in the most horrendous way possible. You're going to hear Bree intro the episode now, and I'll catch you at the end of this one. All right, enjoy.
Hello. It's your host, Bree. I want you to think about the last time that you made a mistake. It doesn't have to be a big mistake, but maybe you sent a message or an email to the wrong person, you missed an important meeting, or maybe you broke something valuable that wasn't yours. What was your first reaction? Be honest. Did you feel embarrassed and want to hide it? Or maybe you denied it and acted like it wasn't a big deal. These are totally normal reactions. Mistakes are hard and they don't feel good. Today, we're going into the story of Charlie Baxter from Surrey, just south of London. In this story, he's meeting his girlfriend's parents for the first time, and he makes a big mistake.
I've never wanted to melt on the spot more than that moment. I know what I did.
This story will make you laugh, and it will also make you cringe, which is that mix of awkwardness and embarrassment for somebody else. But by the end, you will learn how to recover from mistakes and even turn them into a way to connect with others. And now it's time to look at 5 words and expressions that Charlie uses in his story today. The first is to prove your worth. To prove your worth is to show that you're capable of something or that you're valuable. For example, he worked hard to prove his worth to the team, or she wanted to prove her worth in the new job. To prove your worth. Then we have to rev or keep the revs up. So rev is spelled R-E-V. And this is to increase the speed of an engine or to maintain the energy or momentum of something. For example, he revved the engine before the start of the race, or they kept the revs up to finish the project before the deadline. To rev or keep the revs up. And then we have blatantly, B-L-A-T-A-N-T-L-Y. This adjective describes something that is done in a very obvious or offensive way without trying to hide it. For example, he blatantly lied about his achievements in the interview, or the company blatantly ignored safety regulations. Blatantly. And then we have to chip in. So to chip in is a phrasal verb, which usually means to contribute money, but it can also mean to contribute help or ideas. For example, everyone chipped in to buy her a gift, or he chipped in with a helpful suggestion during the meeting. To chip in. And finally, to have flaws. F-L-A-W-S, or to be flawless. To have flaws means to have imperfections, and to be flawless is to be perfect without mistakes. For example, the painting has a few flaws, but it's still beautiful. Or her performance was flawless and impressed everyone. If you would like to get the full learning pack for this episode, then you can visit intothestorypodcast.com. All right, now it's my favorite part. Let's get into the story.
A little reminder that I'm on the hunt for an upper intermediate to advanced learner who is done with having random one-to-one lessons that make you feel like you're going round in circles, or you're done with joining generic courses that don't go deep enough. Because in my updated academy, you now get a clear weekly path that balances self-study and active participation in just a brilliant way. It really is brilliant. You get 3 live sessions a week, including a Q&A and a writing feedback session, both with me, and then a relaxed Sunday speaking club. I'm looking for learners who can commit around 3 hours or more a week and want to finally stop overthinking every sentence and start sounding like themselves in English. And if you join right now, you'll also get access to my live podcast show and learning bundle, which is worth £250 completely free. So head to thebritishenglishpodcast.com/academy right now.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
So picture this. I'm in the passenger seat of a brand new bright blue VW Polo headed for a beach town in Wales. And behind the wheel is the girl that I'm completely infatuated with. The late summer sun is fading as we cross the England-Wales border, and my heart is pounding. because I only have one shot at this, and everything depends on it, because I'm about to meet her parents for the first time. And this meeting is huge for me because my previous relationship fell apart largely because of how things soured between me and my ex's mother. Something that back then I had blamed myself for. But yeah, looking back now, I see it wasn't really about who I was, but rather what I represented in her parents' eyes, if that makes sense. So still, the past haunted me, and I knew how much influence parents could have on a relationship. So I was determined to make it work with this amazing human sat beside me. And then in the back seat is her younger brother, a loudmouthed 16-year-old who's been making his presence known the entire journey. He and my girlfriend are singing their hearts out to old school classics, much to my surprise, singing in perfect harmony. Meanwhile, I sit there awkwardly. I really can't sing, and my memory for lyrics is abysmal, so I feel a bit like a spare part, unsure of how to contribute.
This goes on for a couple of hours. Charlie awkwardly tries to sing a few songs with them. Then he stares out the window at the English countryside, and finally, the gas light turns on. His girlfriend pulls over at the first gas station to fill up the tank.
And I spot an opportunity to be useful, to somehow prove my worth, as ridiculous as it sounds. So I jump out, eager to help, and I say, I'll fill up. Grabbing the nozzle myself and filling up the tank. And then I, for some reason, feel like I've done something, a small gesture, but it's something, right? So we get back on the road, and as the sun dips below the horizon, things take a turn. The car's dashboard lights up like a Christmas tree, error signs blinking at us in red and yellow, and then moments later, the engine sputters and dies, leaving us coasting to a stop on a dark, empty road. The seconds feel like hours as we sit there, stunned and unsure of what to do next. And to make matters worse, we're in the middle of nowhere with no phone signal at all. So without thinking, I jump out, I guess trying to take charge. And I say, let's give it a push. Let's try and give it a push. Trying to be proactive. So I didn't really know if that was the right decision, but I just went with it. And the stakes were rising at this point because we were stranded, and I needed to prove that I could handle, a situation in the unknown. Her brother jumps out too, only to start immediately vomiting all over the side of the road. I was just so confused, and I glanced back at my girlfriend, and I was expecting her to be panicked or disgusted like I was, but instead she just sighs and says, "Oh God, Mum's going to kill me."
Charlie starts to panic a little bit. He learns that the brother has a problem where he vomits when he's stressed or anxious, which just seems surreal. But what's even more unsettling is that they've damaged his girlfriend's mom's car. But he's determined to be a rock in this situation of chaos.
I try to console her and ignore the smell of sick as we push the car until mercifully the engine coughs back to life. We jump in and she keeps up the revs, trying desperately to keep us moving. And we have to speed through red lights. We risk it all at every junction and roundabout, which was stressful. It was very stressful because we had to keep the car from dying again. But there weren't that many cars on the road, and thankfully we made it. Comically let the engine die, rolling into this driveway of this cute little quintessentially Welsh village, cobbled streets and very narrow lanes and high-built stone walls around us. So we get there, the car shudders to a stop, and we could see her parents opening the front door of this cosy, small place, the place her parents had hired for the week in St David's in Wales. And we all take a deep breath. I glance at her, nerves tightening in my stomach a little bit, and think, right, now for the real challenge. And yeah, they came down the drive and embraced us. And then they offered to take our luggage, but I insisted. And yeah, I walked in to the house behind them, sat our bags down, and they took us through to the living room. It felt like a very, very close, small room. Maybe it wasn't even that small, but at the time it felt very, very small. And yeah, they put the kettle on and we exchanged the usual pleasantries. But then the topic comes up. What could have gone wrong with the brand new vehicle, her mum's brand new car? And that's when her father says, well, you didn't put petrol in our diesel car, did you? And that was the moment that I realised I had done exactly that. They started to look at my girlfriend, who then knew that it wasn't her who filled it up, and she brought everyone's attention to me, sat there on this overly squashy, comfortable sofa that was just so close to everyone. I've never wanted to melt on the spot more than that moment. I know what I did. I can see that green handle and smell the petrol to this day from that flashback. And yet, what came out of my mouth surprised even me. Diesel. Yeah, definitely filled it up with diesel, I'm sure. My voice sounded distant to me, like it belonged to someone else. I've never lied so blatantly in my life. But yeah, here I am, lying to her parents, to her and myself. All because of the thought of maybe disappointing her and her parents and ruining this whole opportunity to make a good impression.
Charlie's sitting on the couch, blankly staring at the wall. He can hear the voices of the family talking around him. What could have happened? The car was perfect before they took it to London.
And meanwhile, so they're talking, I'm secretly Googling the cost of fixing a bloody diesel engine with petrol in it. And I remember my hands are trembling as I type. The numbers make my stomach drop. I shouldn't have looked because it said thousands of pounds. Thousands of pounds were going to be what it would take to fix this. And it said if I run the engine, it would be beyond repair. But yeah, my mind was racing the whole time, couldn't really engage in the conversation. I mean, I was just furious with myself as to why I didn't just admit. Why didn't I just admit in that moment? Just made it all worse. 10 times worse. The night dragged on. I could hardly sleep. At one point, I even think I thought about just slipping out the door, just disappearing into the night and never seeing any of them again. So morning comes and I'm woken by a sound of a car engine being revved outside. I peek out the window and see a mechanic who's popped the bonnet, running diagnostics on the Polo. And my heart pounds as I watch, knowing exactly what he's about to find. And I'm just dying to shout out, stop revving that bloody engine. And a few minutes later, the mechanic turns to the family and quite clearly says, yeah, it's got petrol in the tank.
It's time for basketball, and Uber Eats is dropping deals on game day favorites to keep you locked in on the action. Like when you're craving a buzzer beater, but also buffalo wings. Or when an upset makes you want to ugly cry into a pizza. And right now, Uber Eats has game day deals from McDonald's, Popeyes, Pizza Hut, Wendy's, and hundreds more local favorites. So you can keep your eyes on the ball and your hands on a hamburger. Order now, only on Uber Eats. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Lowe's knows member-only doorbuster deals make SpringFest savings even better. Right now, Rewards members can get 3 19.3-ounce Bonnie Plants vegetables and herbs for just $10. Plus, save $50 on a Charbroil Performance Series 4-burner grill, now $149. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/7, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location, subject to change. While supplies last. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms.
And all eyes turn on me at that moment, and I just actually breathe a sigh of relief, weirdly. And I just admit it. I say, I'm so sorry, guys. I can remember that, yeah, I did fill it up with petrol. I don't know why I didn't tell you. I'm really, really sorry. And they had sympathy for me rather than confusion and like guessing what could be wrong with this car. Now they know. Now they know, and they can see that I made a mistake.
Charlie feels so relieved. Embarrassed, yes, but very relieved. And then the family goes from looking at him to slowly turning back and looking at the mechanic.
The damage was actually not too bad. It was about £150, which I was happy to pay for. And then they offered to chip in, which was kind of them, but it kind of made it even worse that they had to pay for my mistake as well. And then we got on with the holiday, and it was beautiful. We all moved on, and we had some really nice moments. They got to know who I was. Apart from her brother, every now and again would chip in when everything was going well and just say, "Remember when you ruined my mum's car?" And I would kick him under the table, but it was fun. And now, 12 years later, I'm married to that girl, and her parents feel like my own family now. Her brother even calls me when he's in a time of need. Obviously not for a mechanic, but I feel completely accepted by them. And looking back, I think it's clear that my decision to lie was kind of because I thought I had to be flawless, and that one mistake would ruin everything. But the truth is, I think, honesty would have been easier. I think everyone listening to this story knows that honesty would have been easier because, honesty opens the door to a real connection, like a genuine connection with somebody, because we're not perfect. And the right people will accept you, I've realised, mistakes and all.
When we've done something embarrassing and terrible, the best thing to do is to face it and own it. So the next time that you send an email to the wrong person or you forget a meeting, you just have to say, "Wow, I am sorry, that was bad. And here's how I'm going to try to make it better." When you own your mistakes like this, it can actually help build trust. And people will forgive you when they see that you take responsibility and you try to fix it. Charlie Baxter hosts the British English podcast, where he talks about British life and language with humor to help you feel confident in English. Find him on Spotify by searching the British English Podcast or visiting thebritishenglishpodcast.com. Okay, that's all for today, folks. Until the next time, I hope that you have a good time, or at least a good story to tell.
There we go. A lovely sign off there. I like that from Brie. I hope you have a good time, or at least a good story to tell. It's true, isn't it? It's either one or the other, most likely. And I think we can all agree that I definitely didn't have a good time when meeting Stacey's parents for the first time, due to the huge mistake I made. Have I learnt from that mistake? Well, yes, I have, because, every time I enter a petrol station, I start to foam at the mouth and twitch around like I've got Tourette's or something. And then I double, triple, and even quadruple check if the car takes petrol or diesel. So yes, I've learnt my lesson, but it does mean you won't want to wait behind me in a queue at the pumps if you're in a rush to get to work. Right, I hope you enjoyed that awkward encounter and the story that came from it. Remember to check out Bree's show if you liked this episode. The show is called Into the Story, and you can find it wherever you get your podcasts, be it Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or even YouTube now. So go enjoy that, and we'll be back next week with another typical episode from me, your host Charlie from the British English Podcast. Bye-bye. Thank you for getting to the end of this one. Considering you're still here, you might well be an upper intermediate or even an advanced learner. And if you're tired of feeling like your English is good, but not actually showcasing your full personality, and if you've got 3 to 5 hours a week to commit to me, and you're ready for something that actually moves the needle, meaning makes a significant change, I'm looking for learners like you to join the Academy right now. It's structured, supportive, and designed to take you from almost there to finally speaking with confidence, clarity, and ease. And as a bonus, you'll get access to the live show and learning bundle, which is a full recorded show in full HD video with extra video lessons, transcripts, flashcards, quizzes, and more. It's the live show that I did last April in 2024. That was a load of fun, and people flew in from around the world to be there. It was incredible, and you get to access that night for free with all of the learning resources that I built around it. It's worth £250, but free for a limited time for those who sign up to my academy. So head to thebritishenglishpodcast.com/academy and come join in.